Brown is the head coach. He joins us every Monday here on Big Board Sports. And, Coach, good morning.
Good morning. How we doing, guys?
Not bad, Coach. Did you get a chance to watch the Super Bowl? How about we start there?
Yes. I watched the Super Bowl.
And your thoughts?
I'm not a football guy by any means, but it looked like our game at Stony Brook.
That's a way to equate that. I like that.
Misery loves company, right? But, I think that's what great players and great teams do. I think there were a million reasons why the Patriots could have lost that game coming out of halftime. You got two that you respond or game over. And I thought the Patriots just hung around and got some breaks, made some plays, and the one thing I was thinking down the stretch is that missed extra point going to come back to haunt the Patriots here when they were down 16. But it was a great Super Bowl to watch, entertaining for sure. But you have to feel just a little bit for the Falcons for sure. Yeah,
there's no doubt about that. And when Will was talking about the Stony Brook, that was earlier in the year when it was a 21-point lead by your team on the road, and Stony Brook came all the way back and got that victory. A lot different game though this past Saturday night, Will, at SEFCU. You come up short 72-65, but obviously it was a different kind of game. A game where you look at your team, Nichols and Cremo both need to really, really play well for you to win, and Nichols just had one of those off nights. But what did you look at when you went back and saw the tape of the loss?
Well, I thought, for us, our defense, gave us the lead. I think in the first half we were up 1 at the half, and then I thought the first 10 minutes of the second half, we really struggled to score the ball. And I think Stony Brook did a good job on David and Joe, kind of like Vermont did. They crowded them. They always saw two defenders, and I think that's where we need to become, especially those two guys. They're two terrific players, and they're drawing so much attention, and that's a compliment to them, and that's something that they need to really learn and understand, and they have to maintain their poise. I think if teams are going to crowd them, the minute they see that crowd, they have to hit an open teammate. I don't think the ball popped enough offensively. I think we kept it in our hands too long, and we didn't allow ourselves to get in any type of flow, on the offensive end. And I thought Woodhouse played at a high level for them. And then in the second half, we went into halftime out-rebounding them by 6, and then they out-rebounded us by 8 in the second half. And, statistically and on paper, we're the best rebounding team in the America East Conference. So it's disappointing that you allowed a team in the final 20 minutes to out-rebound you, like we did. So, again, this is another situation, and we'll encounter it tonight as well, where Stony Brook's rolling out in their starting lineup 2 fifth-year seniors, a fourth-year junior, and 2 juniors. Very experienced and mature, and, we're rolling out 3 19-year-old sophomores on the perimeter who I think are all really talented, but I think the experience of those other guys at Stony Brook showed like it did against Vermont, and now tonight, we're going to see two seniors on the perimeter and a fourth-year junior on the perimeter. And when the going gets tough, I've said it all along, for us to be good, guys need to help Joe and David. It can't be just Joe and David, because that puts an awful lot of pressure on Joe and David to play well every single night. And I think what we have to do now is Joe and David have to realize that sometimes you might have to be a decoy. And you draw 2 guys, and the minute you draw 2, the ball has to come out of your hands, so maybe we can play 4-on-3 on the back end. And that's something in the Vermont game and the Stony Brook game in particular up here that we didn't take advantage of, that we need to take advantage of moving forward.
Will, I go to the bar after the game on Saturday night, and everyone you talk to, everyone's a Division I coach. Everyone has an answer.
4,000 of them sitting behind me every game.
Yeah.
And I say that with a smile on my face.
Yeah, no. So, and I totally get it, and people care about the program, so you can take that, for what it is too. But so here we are. You haven't been able to beat Stony Brook, a loss to Vermont, and those are kind of the watermarks right now in the league, the litmus test, if you will. Do you think that you can get this team to the point almost where you did in 2012-13, where you lost to those teams in the regular season, but were somehow able to get over the hump in the conference tournament? Do you have that vision for this team?
Well, at the midway point, when we sat 4-4, I looked at the standings. I don't spend too much time worrying about standings, but Vermont's not going to lose 4 games, so they're going to win the regular season title. And so what we're trying to do is get more consistent, continue to improve, see the light at the end of the tunnel, which is the conference tournament, and put ourselves in a position where we're playing well, the last 2 weeks of the season. We're feeling good about ourselves heading into the conference tournament. And I do think that, again, depending on how the draw is, are we going to get a first-round home game? Are we going to have to go on the road in the first round? Not sure. But in those situations, it becomes one and done, and I think there's a lot of pressure on both teams. How our young perimeter is going to handle that at that point in time, I'm not sure. That's why these last 6 games in conference play are so important. I was asked a question the other day, and I think it got put in print wrong. They asked me about our team and where we're at right now, and it was put in print like, this is where I expected us to be. I'm comfortable with it. I'm okay with it. That's not the case. My thing is, I'm not surprised by it, is what I was trying to say, just because of our inexperience on the perimeter. 3 guys had never started a college game before at this level, and unless you get a once-in-a-lifetime guy like Jameel Warney, this league is going to be won on the perimeter for the most part, and that's where we have the most of our inexperience is on the perimeter. So I'm not happy with it. I'm not comfortable with it, but I'm not surprised by it, because we've been on a little bit of a roller coaster, up, down, all around, and what I'm hoping is that we're learning from it, and we get better from it is my big thing. By no means am I happy that we're 5-5. I mean, if I had 13 new guys on my roster, I want to find a way to try to win the league and get to the NCAA tournament, and that's no different, this year right now, and I still believe that on a given night, we can beat any team in our league. But what I want us to be able to do is have some consistency where we can have a bunch of one-game winning streaks, as I like to call them.
Well, tonight we'll have the call. Zach and I'll be heading your way, Coach. 6:30 pregame, 7 o'clock rematch with the Wildcats of New Hampshire, and we will talk to you in just a few hours, Will. Thanks for a few minutes here on the Monday Coaches Show on Big Board Sports.
Thanks for having me, and safe travels, guys. I'll see you in a few hours.